Good evening. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, so good to be back on. Good to be able to talk to you guys again. I know it's another day in America, so I'm sure there was a reason why you guys have another reason where you said, definitely time to go. So I get it. I too was at this point that you are in. And with considering that, we'll get into why we're here tonight. Now, one thing I will tell you is that I realize that I sometimes I just jump in. Some people do not know who I am. My name is RJ Mood. I have been living abroad for the last 3 years, been traveling, I would say, more than the average person since 2018 in very intentional ways. The reason we bring these conversations to light is because a lot of people don't realize that you are not in a scenario where you have been given the resources, you have been given the step by step process to take to leave, to go about moving and actually rolling out. So we do our best to not only give you resources that says here, this is what you can do. There's a checklist you can follow step by step. Got you. But there's also a lot of things that come down to this moving abroad scenario that a lot of us, because of being inundated with all of what America has to offer, you don't have time to think about. But I am here to tell you that you definitely will have to, I won't say worry about, but navigate through. Excuse me if that makes a little bit better sense. Now, tonight, we're here to talk about why it is that a lot of you guys are looking to leave. Now, I narrow it down to the 5 reasons that I chose to leave. However, you're going to probably find some kindred spirit in a number of the topics that we'll go over today, because even though they were the top reasons why me personally, chose to leave and look to leave, they are broad enough topics where they're not isolated down to me. I would say if you are on YouTube or wherever it is that you go to find information and looking to figure out if the move abroad is for you, I challenge you to realistically think about it and not just think about it, visualize it. If you guys aren't new here, you probably heard me, know your whys and make sure you know to write them down. The thought process is one thing, but the actual writing it down, you visualizing it and seeing it on a piece of paper, it's an important thing to know why you're leaving. You know why you're leaving. That way you can hope to find out what it is that you're looking for. But nonetheless, we're here for the reasons why, because I know a lot of people may be wondering, okay, I don't know who you are, but why did you leave? Or are they the reasons why I left? Or maybe thinking of leaving? Who knows? But we're going to find out tonight. So I know one of the bigger things when looking to leave, before you even get into the 5 reasons why you might be leaving, is their attitude that you may receive. I remember when we first started Roots and Routes podcast, Bree was telling me when she went to go look to move abroad, um, her family and her friends were like, "Why would you want to leave America?" You know, that thought process is something that can be isolating depending on who your community is, who the people you surround yourself with. So being faced with, people, I wouldn't say ridiculing you, but questioning you as if you don't know, or as if what they're living through, and maybe you guys are both living through it, is the life that you want to live. Oftentimes, it's easy to go with the flow, go with what you know. That is easy. Challenges come abroad when you have to do something that you're unfamiliar with, or venture on a path that nobody in your localized community, your family circle has actually gone on. These things can be met with adversity and family and friends saying you're crazy for looking to move abroad. You then start doubting yourself if you're even thinking to make the right decision. Who do you know abroad? Maybe you don't know anybody, and that is a big fear. So there's a lot of things before you get into that secondary layer, because that's the speed bump. That's going to happen. No matter who you are, somebody's going to go out of their way to make certain that you know that they think that you are actually lost your mind for thinking to leave abroad. I mean, to leave America. It's okay. It is something that everybody that has left has been faced with. It is okay. But it is about what you do, and do you let that stop you, or do you look to uncover some more of these reasons why you might really want to move abroad, and give yourself the reasoning, or maybe even a pushback to them and saying, well, these things are evident in our life, and from what I'm gathering through research and talking to people and spending hours listening to other people that have done it, this isn't the way that the world works. It's just uniquely tied down to America. So you go into figuring out why you want to leave. Maybe the first thing that is on your list, it was the first thing that was on my list. I wanted to break free, break free from what we now know and has been coined. And as more people look to move abroad, you hear this term come up, which is the American rat race, escaping it. In the American rat race, some people know exactly what it is, and other people are like, I'm not familiar with the term. But the American rat race runs into scenarios where, just plain and simple, the more money you make, the more things cost. You continuously need more time, or continuously sustain time away from family, friends, just doing basic human things, just to be able to afford life. Never mind the extra things. Now, at one point, depending on how old you are, you might remember things not costing as much. Now, America is always going to be, I would say, an outlier in how much things cost. I'll say that. But as far as globally, but what I will say is they are outrageously priced when you factor in how much money you have to make to afford just a house. You'd be surprised in other places where Americans are used to saying that this is a third world country, that people that work for somebody, the employer is forced to pay them a wage that allows them a place to live. Now, it may not be in the best area. I'm not saying that. But as an employer of people, you are mandated to not only give them enough so that they can afford somewhere to put the roof over their head, food on their tables, however many people it may be, but they're also afforded luxuries that you guys don't get being a part of the American rat race. And you say, well, what are you talking about? Well, at least I know in Colombia, yesterday was a holiday. And in Colombia, there are, I believe, 18 federal holidays. 18. So that is 1 day off and a little bit more per month. So obviously you got 12 months, it's 12, and then you got, so maybe once every other month there's another day. So you got 2 days off. But then you also factor in that you also are mandated, depending on what industry you're in, it may shift a little bit, but at least know from like domestic workers, you got to give them 20 paid days off. Do the math, add it up. 20 and 18 is 38 days. 38 days plus additional bonuses throughout the year that are equivalent to half a month's salary. I think that is done twice a year. Now you're in the American rat race, living the American dream. Yet I just told you a scenario, and you may not be in a scenario where you're making minimum wage, but you may know people that are making minimum wage. Some of the homeless people that you may see in your cities may have real jobs. People in the homeless shelters have real jobs. People sleeping in their cars have real jobs, and they're employed by billion and multi-billion dollar corporations. Yet America says, you affording me, giving you enough money for you to afford a house based off of what the cost of a house, rent a room, rent a 1 bedroom. That's just too much. So the rat race is such a unique thing, because you may think, well, I've got money. I'm not worried about. Um, I don't make minimum wage. Maybe the average person that's watching this doesn't make minimum wage. That's cool. But I talk to people of all socioeconomic scenarios: rich people, poor people, people in the middle, and the The scenario that is happening is no matter where you lie, rich, middle, poor, even extremely poor, all of you guys are saying the exact same thing about escaping the American rat race. Isn't that a coincidence? No matter how much stuff that you don't have now, once you go get those bare necessities, you're going to be in the exact same scenario as the middle person that has those bare necessities but ends still aren't meeting. And the rich person that has more than all of the people. Yet they realize that the stuff and things once accumulated doesn't actually give the value that it was that they sold it to you and said, this is going to make a lot of sense for you. This is going to better your quality of life. Oh, they remember the infomercials? My life was just so bad before I found Flex Seal. And ever since Flex Seal, my life has been great. They sell stuff and things as if that is the same remedy as Flex Seal. Like it's just once you get it, it will change your life. What was I thinking? Juicing my own fruits. Now I've got this fruit juicer, and I don't even have to touch the fruits. It takes the brines and throws it this way, and it gives me fresh pressed juice, and it's even cold. This is how they operate with the stuff and things in regards to once you get it, you got to go work, make money, and then you're going to purchase your bare necessities and purchase the extra stuff and things, and then you're going to be happy. And it's an obvious situation where you're running through multiple scenarios of socioeconomic status, and the same bottom line is coming out. I'm not happy. I'm not happy chasing it. I'm not happy thinking I got a little bit of it. I'm not happy having it all. And maybe the rat race is not even down to getting the stuff and things, trying to grasp onto happiness. And America gives you so many reasons to believe that capitalism and all the things that it provides and all the things that it allows you to get will bring the happiness to you. So I'm starting to realize that this American rat race thing, yes, it's a socioeconomic thing, but the scenarios of rich and poor having the same bottom line, it actually comes down to the pursuit of happiness. Americans are starting to realize that the brand of happiness that America sells is no longer worth doing the Groundhog Day thing every day. We talked about the 48 hours you get for the weekend. If you have weekends off, what does that actually look like? Do you really get 48 hours? Everybody says it. You see it all the time. Man, I wish I could have a third day off because I spent the last Saturday and Sunday just trying to catch up with the things that I wasn't able to do because I had to go to work all day. This is reality. This is your reality. So many people that starts off with thinking about what it is and why they're looking to leave. Many of us find commonality in the fact that we're tired of just working and thinking that we have the stuff and things that we need, but in reality, we feel empty. So many people are feeling empty because of humanity in walking around in America, walking into somebody you might not know and saying hello, and people like, or barely even conversing with you. Never mind the changes in familial relationships and friendship relationships as more people are inundated with having to maintain, and never mind being able to just enjoy each other, enjoy themselves. American rat race is literally narrowing you down to something as simple as a rat running in a consistent circle thinking that they're on their way. Are you starting to realize that it may be a scenario in America where you don't ever get enough? Yes, you can always get more, but will it ever be enough? Will it ever be enough? That's a question only you can answer. So many people are looking to wake up and try to figure out, is the rat race something to continuously to subscribe to? I would say no, it's led you here. Now, when you get out of the rat race and you realize that America's got this stranglehold on bare necessities, you start to look at things and say, what? Why is it? Okay, so I can go into Philadelphia and Uptown and West Oak Lane and get a $1,200 two-bedroom apartment. And I've got to pay and put furniture in there, and I've got to I've got to pay utilities and all of the fun stuff, right? Or I could pay $800. I think Rotisha lives at in Santa Marta. She's like, yeah, it's like a 1 bedroom on the ocean might be like $600-700 a month, furnished, all utilities. Now, there may be cheaper options and everything else, but I'm just talking about like the bare necessities. If you have, if it takes you $5,000 a month to cover your bare necessities in America as is, and you were able to drop that down to $2,000 a month, one, you would have $3,000 not tied up in just bare necessities. Imagine that. Imagine what you could do. And not saying buying more things, because I know you. I know you. You're like, oh, I could buy more stuff. No. What could you do to help improve your life, better your quality of life? So when we look at how much things cost, I hate going back to the United States because things just cost too much. Two people going to lunch shouldn't cost $50 to $75. Two people going to dinner shouldn't cost $100 plus. It shouldn't. Even if you have one drink apiece, it just shouldn't. The new thing I love that when I say I love, a lot of times when I say I love things, I'm being completely facetious. I absolutely hate this. The thing I love and hate is that they do this thing in America, and you guys know about it. They give you the bill, and then they say, okay, cool, the gratuity is on here. But then the waiter comes by and say, hey, brother, excuse me. Yeah, the gratuity that's on there, that goes to the whole wait staff. If you feel kind in your heart, give me a little something extra, that would go directly to me. Now, the person that owns this restaurant probably got a whole bunch of other restaurants, got a whole bunch more money than you have in your pocket. Yet this person is actually making you buy their meal and employ their waiter staff at a reasonable rate because you need to be added 20% on from what you already bought on the food just to cover the extra for the people that didn't serve you but picked up a glass or maybe ran the food out. And then you need to also pay additionally based off of your original subtotal that person's wages. And the way that technology and the math works, they all once you put that 20% on there, oftentimes these card readers aren't even set up to go back to the original subtotal and then say, okay, well, you're going to tip your server now, so let's give him 15 to 20%. No, they just go off the last 20% that they added from the now new total. And now you're paying 40, 50, 60%. You're paying 60% of your bill just trying to go out and enjoy yourselves. And I know. I used to be a waiter. So some people will be like, oh, listen, people need to be paid good wages so that you don't have to go out and then continuously pay other people's wages. I was talking to my buddy the other day. Shout out to Said. He literally was like, I said, this is, I'm talking like crazy, bro. I said, this is crazy. He said that they were selling ice cream at the school to, I think every Friday for this whole school year. And what that proceeds was going to go to was the teachers were going to get a bonus based off of ice cream sales. I said, all right, let's back this up a little bit. So you guys go to work all day, and then they tax you, whatever your job is, and they give you your paycheck and say, cool. And teacher goes to work all day and they tax them and they give their paycheck. Cool. And then they say, take that tax money that you need to send your kids to school, clothes, food, put the house on, all of that stuff. We want to donate by selling ice cream to you, whatever amount the dollar is. And I said, that's a little interesting. And then I said, well, when they go give that money to them, it's going to be taxed at a bonus. So then if $10,000 is raised and however many teachers is there, that'll be split between those people and then taxed at what, 50%? That's what a bonus is taxed at. So do you guys picture the American rat race and how convoluted it is? It's just like everything is an opportunity to give something away, and we're supposed to fix something that you guys won't fix, the rich people. And then we're just supposed to feel like one day we've made it. One day we got to 65 and we're able to retire, and then now we can go see the world. And now we'll be able to live the life that we want to live. Ask any 65-year-old how they feel now versus how they felt at 40. And some of you aren't even there yet. So if you got the opportunity to finally break free from the American rat race at 65, with all the money that you had accumulated, what could you actually do? We already know if you got a good job, you might get 14 paid days off a year, 5 sick days. Come on now, I used to be in corporate America. I know the hustle. But how much of that time can you actually go and spend in seeing the world or doing the things that you love? Some of the people, I remember my gym teacher in middle school, Mr. Cawley, he went and did a sabbatical. It was good enough. He played for the Philadelphia Phillies spring team or the one of the teams that they had. And I'm like, bro, that's cool. And he came back to work. And it's like, maybe you can't move abroad, but something like that, he could get old and not be able to do what he wanted to do and still have that memory. Yeah, so many of you guys are going to get old in the system of the rat race and never actually get to see or do anything. And you're starting to realize that. You're starting to see more TikTok videos and people traveling the world and doing all these fun things. And you're like, I don't even have the time. And if I had the time, I don't have the money. And I know the American mindset. I have the same thing. When I'm on vacation, am I making money while we're here? Like, yeah, maybe it's paid, but it's just like, well, I know I got to go home and it's going to be, I've got 800 emails for missing work. Got to play catch up for the rest of the time. I got to go pick up the dog. I got to go get the kids. These are all things where it's like the rat race is a very bad place to be in. And a lot of you are at the point of looking to leave. Now, we can talk all night about the rat race. That could be its own night, I promise you, because you guys know where you are and you know how suffocating it feels to feel like no matter what I'm doing, I'm not going to ever get ahead. In the moment that you do, you feel like here comes something else. The moment you get a little extra money, here comes the check engine light coming on. And the rat races gets down to both the system of it and everything that happens while you're in it. It's just like you can't seem to get ahead because there's always something new. And thinking of something new, I saw something the other day and I'm like, well, you know what? I've seen rumblings of it. But what I saw the other day, I was like, all right, now this is outrageous. They're making vegan butter off of non, not vegan butter, plant, animal based butter off of non-animal based things. It's like lab grown meats and bioengineered products. And another one of the reasons why I looked to go leave was a lot of the reasons why some of you might be looking to go leave. The food quality is terrible. It's terrible. Maybe you don't even realize how bad the food quality is. Let's back up a little bit. But maybe you went abroad. Maybe you went to a vacation. Even if you were on a resort and you were eating, and I had a client say, "Yeah, I went to Italy and I was eating pasta every day and fried this and did it, and I didn't gain any weight and I didn't feel full and bloated." Well, United States has a different food quality level that they're willing to give you Americans, and no one else in the world is willing to give their people these types of things. The preservatives and the things that just sit on the shelves for months and don't even they just sit there. You've seen the McDonald's experiments with the burger and the fries, and it's just sitting there in the corner, looking all old, but not even looking moldy. Yeah. So what do you do when you can't eat the food? You can't trust the food. You can't trust the government to give you quality food. Now, this is just you as an individual. Never mind if you have children. So many children are growing up with ailments that and things that are normalized that wasn't widespread. Can it be coming down to the food, to the preservatives, the hormones that they're feeding the um, the animals? People, it's so funny when people can't eat certain foods in the United States and then go abroad and are able to eat those foods. Now, I'm allergic to peanuts. I do not play with peanuts globally. Now, I have not tried the Colombian peanut or a Mexican peanut just because I'm like, it's a little too much risk. However, things like chicken, bread, you'd be surprised the people that have gluten allergies in the United States and don't know what gluten allergy is abroad. The food quality in the United States has gotten dismal. And now you can't even escape eating capitalism. You guys remember it was a documentary it was on. It was about I can't remember what the documentary was called, but what I can tell you is they were talking about the paid labels that we see, organic, dolphin free. These are just paid labels. The fishermen say there's no way for this to be dolphin free. Do you know how big the ocean is and how many fish we're reeling in at one time? The dolphin free is something that they put on there to make you feel better about your purchase. You look at the ingredients, and I am not a fan. I do not subscribe to anybody. But the one thing that very shaky person pointed out was the number of ingredients that they put in the products in America. They're absolutely outrageous. You don't eat hydrocortisone prograde, but it's put in there so that it has a longer shelf life. What is that doing to your body? So many people are starting to get dementia and different things at younger ages. What if it's you? What if it's me? What if it's any of us? So, looking at moving abroad, considering what it is that I know about the fruits and the foods and the processes that they weren't willing to subject their citizens to, these places that you guys label third world countries, but because somebody can make an extra buck, they're willing to poison you. Many of these manufacturers don't eat their own products, but it's perfectly fine for you. You guys pay a premium to go to places like Whole Foods and just to get quality organic vegetables and fruits. And if, next time you go into Whole Foods, look at where they come from. They're not at an organic farm in Florida. They're imported from places that are abroad, Colombia, Costa Rica. The proof is right in your face, and you don't even realize it that they have to. They say this food is better for you, but it's not anywhere around. The same people that want to say America first and, we want everything made in America. Go try to get the quality of bananas and the quality of fruits that you want growing in America under American regulations or irregulations. You have to put this into your body. And you can make sustained choices and saying, I'm only going to the farmer's market or I'm only going to Whole Foods, do this. Well, one, Whole Foods is going to run your bill up real quick. The other thing is, let's say you go to a restaurant. Are you in the back checking with the chef to see where they source their foods from? Yes, it's a five-star restaurant. No, that doesn't mean that they're going to treat you better because you paid all this money. It's a money exchange. You go to somebody's house and they're like, you ever say, put your foot in this? They cared. You can feel the love in this. America don't got no love for y'all. America has no love when it comes to the food. It's a money thing. It's everything is an exchange. Money, prison, education, healthcare. How much money can I get off of you before you go? Are you not realizing that? Are you not realizing you're running into a scenario where America is running up on you and there's nothing that you can do? Where do you go and dodge American food problems? Where in America do you go? Where do you go in America to find a job that doesn't have you stuck in the American rat race? You tell me. I'm here. I'm waiting for you. Please. Because all of that leads into the third reason why I got the hell out of there. And you know why? Because you start with the first one, and you start with the second one, you start with the American rat race, and am I ever going to get out of this? Am I going to look up and be 65 years old and say, well, now I can go, and now I can see? Am I going to make it to 65 because the food is actually taking years off of my life? But never mind the food, and never mind the work quality or lack thereof. But the entire being of being in America has started to cave in on people. Am I right? You say, no, I'm perfectly fine. Are you? You're perfectly fine, but you tell everybody you don't watch TV or you don't look at the internet because it's overwhelming. Are you okay? The things that you have to prepare yourself for when going out. When I was a kid, my dad used to say, Make sure you always got on clean drawers when you go outside, because if you get arrested by the cops, mind you, I'm 10, so me getting arrested by the cops should be unlikely. But he was preparing me for what I ultimately knew was the facts of of life. Make sure you always got on clean drawers. Well, Dad, I'm 10, so I should be having on clean drawers. But secondarily, like, why would I do anything that where the cops would want to mess with me? Son, let me tell you. Let me tell you how things work. Let me tell you how certain things work with people that could look like you. What does that look like for you? Well, once realizing that, I had to grow up with understanding. We've seen it many a time. Certain households don't have the conversation with their children, even though they aren't driving or aren't in a scenario where they're an adult and they would probably be without supervision. They still are having this conversation because it's a fact of the matter. It's a reality. Now, which we started on with the police and what that can look like, because over the years we have seen people just look like us run into the cops and it not be what it was that was originally brokered, protect and serve. So we run into scenarios in the United States where, yes, that is already on your plate. Yes, it is. And then what has now recently got on your plate over the last 15 years that has become normalized. It's like an American thing now, which is pew pews, mass ones. Everybody can go to a grocery store, a bank, a church, a state fair. You can go anywhere in America and you could be a part of somebody's mental illness and taking it out in whatever way that looks like. We have to go outside considering, like, kissing your loved ones before you go outside means a lot more now. We went from a scenario where it happened and people would say, never again. Our children don't deserve this. We shouldn't raise children or be in a society where this is normalized. But what happened? What changed when it happened? Nothing. America's favorite line is thoughts and prayers, but thoughts and prayers have never brought one person back from the other side of violence. Yet America has said, it's all right. Somebody was telling me, oh, well, they don't allow they don't allow cell phones in the schools anymore for the kids. And I said, well, what if something happens? How are they going to get in contact with anybody? That is where we are. And so many other people said the exact same thing. That is where we are. You have to think about sending your kid to school and them not coming home. That is where we have gotten to in the United States. The mental toll of that, the normalization of that. When we first got the orange president for the second time, there were so much things going on. We never saw anything like this. Normally, you get to December, January, and you start to go into the 20th and you say, okay, cool, wherever inauguration day is, okay, things are about to start happening. But what happened in this scenario and cycle was immediately the day after the election, things just got weird. It got real weird. And we were starting to see all of this information come out. It was just like a fire hose of information consistently, consistently, consistently. And I remember telling my buddy, I said, bro, how much of this can y'all see? He's like, nah, but listen, it's not even going to go to the Supreme Court. It's not even going to go. He's just talking. And I said, yes, but they're covering it. So it's all everybody is seeing now. So when something goes on, because they're saying, look at this craziness, look at this craziness, look at this craziness, look at this realness, look at this craziness, look at this craziness, look at this real thing, look at this craziness, look at this craziness, you're going to get caught up between the realness and the craziness because it's so much all at one time. So many people spent the first half of the year thinking that because I have a government job, I may not have a government job by the time we get to August because of what is going on. The Doge thing, it came like a big fall swoop, and then it just disappeared, and then they went arguing on Twitter with each other. This is Americans and Americans' lives. Yet it is be given as like some sort of reality TV show, but you are the one that has to live in it. Never mind where we started at with how much you dag with the rat race and being stuck and feeling like you can't even survive because they're barely paying you enough to live. Never mind what do I eat at night that's not going to speed up the amount of time speed up the time that I have little left on earth. But now you have to deal with where do I send my kids or where do I let my kids go outside and they come back in and everybody's safe. What about the isolated scenarios with the not even isolated scenarios? We've seen it so many times, no matter what city or state you're in. You know, police brutality is a thing. People are getting snatched out of schools, and immigration is running into people's houses and neighborhoods right now. If you are one of those people that thinks that is all just and fine, please unfollow, get rid of me. This message is not for you. What we are seeing here is the humanity being stripped from Americans, people in America. We are all humans. America is a place made up. Amerigo Vespucci. Shout out, but no shout outs to him. We all are humans on one planet, supposed to be here. Human is meaning that we're supposed to be in community with each other. Yet people are sitting here looking and realizing that this is the norm now. How much of that can be normalized before it starts to wear on your boat? Never mind the first two topics. What about this? How do you navigate that when there's nowhere that you can turn? Turn the TV off. You go. If you live in Philadelphia, you turn the TV off. You hear the daggone cops driving down the street. It's always something. And it's so funny because Americans use that third world country term so liberally. Yet I get people in other places that saying English is their second language, pulling up Kensington, Philadelphia, and saying, "Hey, you've seen this?" And I said, "Yeah, we don't have any place like that around here." And I'm like, "Oh, I know. Don't tell an American that because they're gonna tell you that you are a mentirosa. You're a liar, and it's not true." It's it, it, it's such an important thing to realize where you guys are. I say that is because these last two things that made me want to leave, yeah, first three, they're tough. They're challenges. They're challenging to hear. Maybe you thought you may have been one of these, but you didn't realize that by the third one you were still in. You were still like, nah, I'm upset about that too. But what if I could tell you that even if you're in the midst of turmoil, that you can still have hope, that you can still believe that there are things that are out there that aren't this life for you. No, yes, you got to do a number of things to get the work done, to get here and get there, wherever there is. But when looking at the reason that you're looking to leave, I always tell you, yes, you need to put down what you're looking to give up. But what are you looking for? So the second half of the reasons why I left, the five ones, comes into my hope, into my faith that the world wasn't as given to me the way that it was, in the sense of America is sold us as the best place in the world. And I've always asked for who, because if it's not for you, then maybe you should find that place. And not saying leave America. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like maybe other places after growing up in America may be more suited for you because now you have a comparison. And maybe you realize that those things that America breeds may not be what is aligned with your spirit. Because what was aligned with my spirit and looking to get rid of these things was the opportunity to travel more, to see where my end goal, where my destination was, where I really wanted to be. And here's the thing: I haven't even planted anchor yet. There are so many other places that I have yet to see where in 5 years I might say, man, you know, I really came to Zanzibar and it was everything I could possibly look for. And I never had been there 5 years ago. I'm an open person for those kind of experiences. But I wanted to travel more to find not only what it was that I wanted from my life, but how other people were living. Clearly, there had to be other foods and traditions and cultures that I wasn't privy to. And I knew that travel in the United States was expensive. Go take a flight from Philadelphia to Los Angeles. It might cost you $400, $500 round trip. In Colombia travel, Colombia to Mexico, Colombia to Cartagena to Medellin to Bucaramanga to Santa Marta, it costs like $20 one way, $40 round trip. You want to go to a different country, it costs you $150 round trip. So what we're spending money on to go from one state to another state I could have different countries and different languages and different cultures under my belt that I don't have the access to because I'm spending all my money just trying to keep my head afloat. No, I was doing fine, but it was just how much of this is going to be to where I'm like, okay, I'm young now, but do I want to just keep all of this up and still just have a bunch of clothes and a nice car? But all the experiences that I'm craving, my thought process isn't even lined up and geared towards being able to receive these. Anytime I get the opportunity to, I lean into it. I love it. But I go back to reality. And I said, I need to have that feeling. What if I didn't have to have the feeling of what vacation was, that vacation feeling? What if that I didn't need to wait for that feeling? What if I was able to eat the good food all of the time? What if I was able to not walk outside every day and think, could this be it? Based off of nothing that I've done just because America. These are all realities that I was just like, I'm not willing to live. I'm not willing to do anymore. And I need more. So the freedom to travel more was really important to me. You guys have the ability when you go to move abroad. One, you take your basic needs, basic costs, and you let's say you have that. Now let's say it was 5 grand, and you came down to your life cost you 2,500 now. Now you have $2,500 to reinvest in yourself, travel, experiences, all of these things that you just were barely trying to get that 5,000 just so you could say I have a house and a roof over my head and a way to get to and from work. But then you also get to go into these other things, and these other things are one of the most important reasons, and it's one of the biggest things that I looked at when thinking about the opportunity, the hope that I had for my life. Because yes, I could travel more, but my reason for traveling more was because I wanted to learn a new language. I wanted to get more acclimated into different cultures because I knew anytime I got uncomfortable, I was challenged to grow. And that ability to grow is something that doesn't have an age limit on it. No matter how old you are, you can still be learning, you can still be growing. And some of the things that I was given the opportunity to see, traveling abroad, getting to travel more, going to different places in Colombia, just living there. I know this one spot. It was so everybody knows about Palenque, and if you don't, it is the first free town of Africans in all of the Americas. It is about an hour from Cartagena. So anybody that goes to Cartagena, we always try to get them to go there. Um, but there was another place that I found out that was never on my radar, and I was invited. And talked to you guys about that yesterday about community. When you get down here, you get to your destination and meeting people, and them inviting you to other places in your country that may not have been on your radar, you never heard of. And it was this place called San Andres Island, and I said, "Okay, let's go." He said, well, "Tell me about it." I said, "Well, it's the island of seven blues," and I said, "What?" Yeah, it's the island of seven blues. So I go look it up. seven of them, seven blues, seven different shades of blue water on this island. One of the other things that I thought was unique was it is closer to Nicaragua than the mainland of Colombia. I said, huh, this is going to be the longest flight that we have, and we're going to still be in Colombia. Yeah, and they say, yeah, you can get a little golf cart, and it takes about an hour to drive around the city, the island. Hmm. That was number three. I said, wow, it's a really small island, you know. What makes it so, where are we going? You know, what makes it unique? Well, outside of those things, it is one of the only places in Colombia where the Afro-Colombian population speaks English. Did you know that? So that is only one of the most beautiful places. You guys go to Maldives and Fiji, and you gotta go all the way on the other side of the world. And there are so many pockets that most people don't even know about. And I got there and I said, well, why do you guys speak English? Well, Black people are magical and have been for a very long time. And when they were building the island, they went over to neighboring Jamaica and went and got people to help build the island. And generations later, those people are still on the island. So they speak English Creole, which sounds like Jamaican patois. They're the only other place in outside of Jamaica that has the Rondon cultural fish uh, like experience. These things, they're literally, you would think you're in Little Jamaica. People walking up to you, one love, Rastafari. It's like, no one knows about this. I didn't know about this. I didn't know. I knew the diaspora was beautiful. The African diaspora expands in places that we know and places that we don't even haven't even gotten the education on yet. But this was, I thought I knew. You telling me that there was an Afro-Colombian population of people that were speaking English, I didn't think it existed. Yet here we are in the flesh. And I remember it was a myriad of beautiful experiences. Never mind getting the understanding, the culture, doing the rundown experience. Shout out to Ronald Rams and his team out in San Andres also. But I got a fish that was probably bigger than this. It was huge, and it was like $10, $11. I just remember eating the whole side of the fish, and then there was a whole other side, and I was like, gave me coconut rice, and it was just a beautiful experience. And I was like, I wouldn't have had the nerves to venture this deep into Colombia, going to the places that weren't the hot spots, Cartagena or Medellin, and going into these other spots that you may need to take a flight in to Colombia and then take another flight to get to this place. But when I got there, I realized this is what my spirit needed. When I was on step one and step two and step three and looking at reasons why I'm leaving and all of these negative things, those last two were my saving grace. Those last two were the things that kept my hope alive and kept my faith alive. That even if I didn't know it existed, I knew that I wanted to find it. And that is where so many of you guys are. You're not willing to throw in a towel, which is probably why you're looking to go move abroad. Go look to see what else the world has to offer you. That's a good thing. However, when looking at it, you do need to be intentional. You do need to make certain that you are reviewing what it is that you are looking to leave. You are reviewing what it is that you are looking for. Have some faith, have faith, have hope. Be intentional. Faith and hope and prayer doesn't work unless you actually do something. But be intentional with this faith and hope that you have and see what it is that you might not be able to see right now. Maybe you will find it. The world is a huge place. And I don't know what's in your heart, what your soul is actually looking for. But I challenge you to take these five, add your five. While I covered all your five, go sit down. It's got to be more than that. You're looking to give up your entire American life to start in a place that you don't may not speak the language, that you may not understand the culture, how things run. But because what you're going through in the United States, looking to escape the American rat race, because you can't eat the food there, you got a gluten allergy, you got a fowl allergy, you can't eat drink beer because you got a wheat allergy, you have every allergy under the sun. You probably just drink water and celery. But don't be afraid to get and push through those things and say, yes, this is my life in America. Yes, I have to send my kids to school with worrying about if they're going to come home. Yes, I have to go to the grocery store thinking that may this be my last incident. I'm going to go to a concert and somebody could be upset. Yes, these are the things, but I'm going to push through because on the other side of that, there is some possibilities that you can have hope that there are other places that do not have this as a normalized life for you. If you're on this call, doing a good job, doing a good job at sitting with somebody. Don't have to be just me. There's plenty of people on YouTube. But find them. Get some real understanding about what you're saying that you want to do. Plenty of people in the airport, not all of them going to the right destination. You do not want to be that person. Yes, you can get a ticket to anywhere in the world, but if it's not for you, then where are you going? You're giving up everything to chase something that you don't even know and you can't define. You won't spend the time to write it down for you. So, what do you do with this information? That is on you. My job is to continue to just stimulate thought process, to give you guys real things that you need to wrap your head around because most of these people won't tell you. Don't go sell everything and you've never spent more than 5 days there. and you had your tourist glasses on the whole time. Don't go do it. I'm telling you not to go do it. Don't go there without a solid financial plan of how I'm going to make money. Don't take somebody's 1% chance of probability and they say, I went abroad with a one-way ticket and no job and $3,000, and 5 years later, I've been abroad this entire time. That was that person. But if that person also told you they jumped out of a parachute with no parachute, but they still made it on the ground, would you go turn around behind them and say, well, the guy made it. Why would I not make it? No, take that same thought process and take responsibility. You are the only one that is going to go through the tribulations and trials that you will see. You are only one that's going to have the transformation that you will have. You have to take this seriously. That's why I take my time to give you really what happened with me, what it was that I went through, the good and the bad. That way, you don't have to sit here and think about what you should think about. We hopefully can cover it in one of these conversations. Now, the good thing is we've got some new ebooks that are coming out. 100 Days of Freedom. So I know that a lot of you guys are looking to leave. We can get this capsulized into the next 100 days if you are looking. So please keep your eyes out for that. But the good thing is we're going to be going over some of these chapters, and some of these chapters are designed to give you that education. No matter if you went to Ivy League high school or the top Ivy League college, most of those places don't have a this is how you leave America. This is how you embrace new cultures and adapt to new cultures. And this is how you become a global welcome citizen versus an American citizen. Because those are two different things. So we go through those. Most of you guys don't even know how your passport works. I get so many people looking to come and move to Mexico or move to Colombia, spend 5 days there, don't even know what neighborhood they're gonna look, but they're asking me well, how much does the visa cost to go to get the digital nomad visa? Why? This is what we cover. So that way you can get education, knowing how your passport works, knowing the different kinds of visas. Everywhere has its subcategories, but there are 4 types of visas. So we will continue to go through these things ahead of the book release, ahead of these opportunities for you not only to learn about moving abroad generally, isolated down to Colombia, but we're going to bring some other destinations on. I'm really excited for you guys to be able to see what we have in store for you. I'm starting to get back into the flow of things, having these conversations. I think they're starting to be more relevant as things continuously transpire in the United States. So if this was for you, great, please go here. Make sure you are following so you get any update. Subscribe. That way you know. If you're not on YouTube, please go to Black Expat Life in Colombia. There you can find not only this conversation, all of the lives that will happen moving forward, as well as all of the conversations that we've had in the past. We do have a upcoming free webinar. We've got the virtual conference for Colombia that's going to be dropping this week. And then that Saturday will be dropping. And then we do have a webinar that we're going to be doing. It is 100% free. It's going to give you guys some general information that is specific. We cover some of the things we kind of talked about tonight. We covered some of the things we talked about the other day, but we bring it all together so you can really take a look in the mirror and say, if I'm ready to move abroad, what am I willing to give up to get the life that I deserve? So I appreciate you guys always for tuning in. I thank you guys for making sure y'all sharing this. Please jump in the comments for my YouTubers. Jump in the comments. Let me know what y'all need the questions on. Answers on. Let me know what questions you may have. Some things or topics you may want us to cover so you can get a better understanding of what you are willing to get into by moving abroad. I am somebody that looks at the comments, does my best to reply to anybody. That way we can make sure and that if it's something that you want to see, let me know. If not, we'll just go over the book because the book covers all of this stuff. But make sure you guys are tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow right around 6 p.m. Eastern time. As always, share this with somebody that needs to see it. Maybe it wasn't you, but share this with your friend that's been talking to you about, I want to move abroad, but I don't know where to start. Start here and go to movetravelcolombia.com. That's 2 O's in move, 2 O's in Colombia.com. There you will find free resources on how to move to Colombia. Got some additional website things that'll be coming out, some additional destinations. So please stay tuned for that. But on movetravelcolombia.com, you've got your free resources. You have your virtual conference signups. You'll have some webinars that we've done there as well. You also have your physical relocation tours. That way, once you finish with up the virtual tour and you make certain that this is where you want to go before you go booking a ticket or leaving where you're watching this, you actually can come and be greeted by an entire staff and a team of people that are excited to show you Colombia, excited to show you the destination that you are actually saying that you want to be in, show you the neighborhoods, take you on an apartment tour, take you to let you meet with a doctor. You guys are so used to going to a doctor at a doctor's office. What if we could come to your house for less than what you're paying the copay? This is reality, but you need to go see and touch and feel what you expect. So that way, your best life looks exactly how you want it to look. I appreciate you guys once again, as always. My name is RJ Mood, and I will see you guys mañana. Hasta luego.